sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes. Welcome, everybody. We've landed on Teen Sports Radio. We've got another rocking show for you today. We're a community hour, and basically we've been around here now since 2010. We've got an amazing producer. News Press Radio has housed us. We're just about kids and any topic that's out there that we need to shed some light on in a way that is for learning and growing. And we've got a great group today to talk about the newest issues in the house. We've got Anthony Rodriguez, Kristine Marie she does some tarot reading for us, a view from the deck. Dr. Amy Salzman's in the house, Dominiqie Hackett, and of course our Renaissance man, Don Sanders. So let's get going by, I always like to start the show by being grateful to this past week. And we'll start with Dominique. Dominique, what are you grateful for?
Yay! I want to give gratitude to a friend of mine from the UK, from England. Her name is Anna, and I have spent probably over a year studying some of the legalese of some of the fun things that I study. But I just want to say that it's so fun being able to connect with people all over the globe and be able to study things and learn things together. And I'm so grateful to Anna for being on a journey of studying some really interesting materials having to do with law. So it's very, very fun.
Yeah, I'm so appreciative. Our newest relationship is with Eternity Ready Radio, and they've got footmarks all over the world. I love looking at the logistics of the show, and we've added, last week was Moscow, this week is Tokyo. It's so cool to see what the show is doing and how broad of a scope, like the impact that we're going to be making. It's amazing. Don Sanders, who do you want to give some love to?
I want to give some love to my daughter and her boyfriend who came through last week and cooked us a spectacular dinner and had a chance to catch up and spend the night with family. Always a good thing before they return to their home there in Santa Barbara.
So this is the same daughter that got, when you did the, you had to explain why you loved, what was the car? Subaru, was it? The four-wheel drive car?
Yeah, this is the one that just got herself out of a flooded river situation on a camping trip. Yes.
It's so funny. He goes, I would like to thank Subaru. Let me explain. Like, wow. Okay. And it's funny because my son is going to be moving to an area which has seasons, and he's gonna. I actually brought the story up to him. I go, you might want to look at those Subarus if you're gonna need 4-wheel drive. It was pretty funny. So some good stuff there. All right, so we got Dr. Amy's in the house, and congrats to the launch of your Spot a Spider. And I know our own producer helped you with that. So who do you want to give some love to?
Well, we can start with Dr. Richard Dugan for lending his sonorous voice to the videos. And I want to give a shout out actually to my PR team at Pink Shark in LA and to the many affiliated podcasts that are as awesome as Teen Sports Radio, maybe not quite as awesome. So I spoke with moms of teens and tweens this morning. I'm going to speak with Autism Dad next week and Parenting Impossible sometime soon. And I think I spoke with Dr. Cam, all about teaching kids to spot and stop spiders. And I think for me, what's been the most powerful is that so many of the podcasters themselves either were trapped by abusive spiders or had a friend or a family member who was trapped by an abusive spider. And so they really understand it, and they really wish that they had this when they were young.
Mm-hmm. I told you this at a luncheon that you joined at our house once. I think my kids were in like 6th grade, and I invited all these moms over, and I don't even know how the conversation started, but we were talking about abuse and trauma, and of the 11 women that were in my living room, 10 were molested. So it was just a huge cry fest. So you figure we're all in our 30s, maybe early 40s at that time. And it was just an evening that I'll always capture and remember, because it was, Dominique always said, when the tears come, it's just a washy-washy. It's just a release of energy. So when anybody's prepared to face something like that, we do have our Dr. Amy in the house to peel that onion. We also have Sierra Boatwright to peel that onion, because as our kids grow up and they do become teens, it's really nice for them to have the tools to talk about it then, instead of paying tens of thousands of dollars like I've had to do at 60 now.
And the goal is that it never happened.
I was talking to the moms of teens and tweens, and the thing is, she said, what do you say to parents who are reluctant to have these conversations with their kids? And I said, so much better to talk with your kids about spotting a spider and stopping a spider than to have the conversation afterwards about how are you going to heal and deal with the abuse. So as first of all, I hope I've made the conversation super easy and accessible and straightforward. But if you feel awkward about this, just think about how awkward you would feel if you had to talk about it after.
Beautifully said.
Say to talk about it. So when you're afraid of something, you're burying something. It's your shame. Mm-hmm. It's your fear. Mm-hmm. I mean, usually when somebody comes out or just wants to shut it down or have an explosion or just don't turn your back, they're going through it's a trigger, right? I mean, they're just getting triggered by it. So that's what's really nice when you get older and you actually have spent, 20 years in therapy working through your own stuff. You get to realize why people react to you the way they do. And I've learned through therapy is instead of trying to throw out a lure to somebody who's not asking for help, reel that lure back in. Right, Dominique?
And just be there. It's about being. We're sharing that we're all human beings.
And asking a person,
ask questions.
How do you feel? That's such an easy question to ask somebody. How do you feel about that?
But the bigger answer is because you hear the rhetorical reply, fine, I'm doing okay. Mm-hmm. When in fact, and I'm starting to see programs where people ask the questions, so how are you doing? Mm-hmm. And they're actually being honest and not so good. And it seems like a really stupid question to be asking. Let's just say, after someone you've loved has passed on, or was in an accident, or these kinds. Be honest. It's okay. And don't apologize when you cry. Mm-hmm. Do you apologize when you laugh? Mm-hmm. No. So don't apologize. That's part of who you are. And it's like you were just saying, it's part of the release. It's part of the healing process.
It's the washy-washy.
It's the washy-washy.
It's a washy-washy.
I call it the holy waters.
I like the holy waters. Very good.
When I'm doing a reading, and because people are often ashamed when they cry, and I say, oh my gosh, you've just offered this reading so much of a blessing with those waters.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting them flow. And they sometimes don't know what to say to me at that point, but I was an early childhood educator for many years, and I think when babies cry, there are certain times when babies cry when it is a release and it's necessary and it's okay for them to cry, and to hold them and love them through that crying instead of trying to shush them up.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so many people have been shushed from their own crying that they try to shush other people. They don't want them to express because it also it triggers or taps our own pain. And yet when we can allow that and bless their release, it actually helps release something from us as well.
Well said. Who do you have somebody you want to give some love to there, Kristine?
Oh, I do. I want to give some love to my dance choreographer, teacher, dance troupe leader, Diana Replogle-Porrington, for Baile de California Dance. During Fiesta, I danced my little feet off. I danced my whole self off. And I got to be in Fiesta, at the Floricanto, about the history of these dances that I'm doing. They really integrate the history of early California and the dances that were done there. And I wanted to invite any of the teens and young people. You only need to be 13 to dance in at the courthouse in Noches or in Floricanto. And so these dances, they're like folk dances, and they include like the stories of what was happening in the world then, and sometimes the musical instruments, and we work with other people in the community. Just so much fun. And there's big twirly skirts. If you've always loved a twirly skirt, come join me.
That's awesome. See, it was a beautiful. This is like the whole breakout. I always said Santa Barbara's in a renaissance. So this was a real good way for us to like plant ourselves and then move ahead. We still got, the fall coming, and hopefully all the festivities and the festivals and everything come back. We're still, not all there yet, but we're on a good, strong road on the way back. We've got Anthony Rodriguez in the house. Do you have anything you want to add before we go to the break? And I want to get to Dr. D, too. We got some love here. Anthony.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the food bank for being so supportive to their employees during difficult times. If it wasn't for them, I don't know how I would be able to deal with certain things. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has been very supportive. And also to everybody that showed up for fiestas at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. Thank you so much. And the ladies that gave me so much nice words, I am truly grateful, because you have no idea how much I needed it at that time. So thank you.
Beautiful. Dr. D, we got about 15. I left you 15 seconds.
I appreciate that.
That's it.
I would like to give a shout out. I'm not going to do it by name because he knows who he is, but to my newest client, that I have a new little part-time side job that I'm really excited about. It isn't just about the money, folks. It is actually about the project that I'm working on and going into, I'll put it this way, going into somebody else's world, and it's really very cool. And I'm really excited about being a part of this. I will share more about that in the coming weeks, but it's just really cool.
Because we will take a break. We've got Dominiqie Hackett after these messages, but Richard, you do great audio work. So if anybody out there wants to put their thoughts, feelings, books, whatever, you do it all. So I like to always, pitch you there, because you've worked with a lot of my clients. You've done books for my clients.
Oh, by the way, that sound booth that I found out about at this one hearing aid testing facility over on De La Vina?
Yeah, I remember you loading it up. You asked me if I had a truck. Exactly. I do remember that.
I do. And then, of course, we were able to get our thanks to Patricia Braggs and her crew. She was able to put together some gentlemen and a truck, and we loaded it and took it up the hill and brought it in the house and everything. And I haven't used it until now. And I am really excited about getting inside that box.
That's it. God bless Patricia Braggs, too.
Thank you.
That's it. She's an amazing.
And those are my 15 seconds of fame.
Thank you. Hey, let's fill up your coffee. Let's have Dominiqie Hackett right after these messages. This is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hello, this is Dominiqie Hackett with Santa Barbara Wellness Center, and I love to do a little, what I call a Hackett's Hygge, and I love to tell stories. So this is a story that I got when well, how do I preface this? Sometimes you're around teens that may have eating disorders. And there is a wonderful, wonderful book for parents to read. It's called Eating by the Light of the Moon. And it kind of helps give a different perspective on various addictive behaviors, and in particular on eating disorders. And when we talk about eating disorders, we're talking about some people who are eating too much, and then without anyone knowing what they're doing, they may be throwing it up. And then there's other times where people are eating and they're just not eating. And so there are different kinds of disorders or discomfort in regards to eating. But this story has to do with a culture that had a moon goddess. And this moon goddess loved to take the light of the sun and reflect it down onto the earth in a way that was more gentle. And she did that, obviously, at night. And the people of the village loved the light of the moon because it was very gentle and very beautiful. And it helped them walk through some scary parts of the woods. The woods near the village had some murky, wet places where, you know...
Can you pass my coffee? Because I love this story already. Thank you.
Because you could...
This is going to be a good story.
You could step in and maybe you get stuck in the bog and you never make it home. So they really, really appreciated the moon goddess. Well, when the moon goddess heard that the forest was kind of a scary place, she decided to go take a look for herself because she wanted things to be really well for the people in the village. So she went one night, and what she did was she put on a cloak and she covered up her beautiful, radiant golden hair, and she covered up her golden garments. And the only thing that was sticking out that she couldn't cover up with were her radiant feet. But she walked through the forest and she came upon the boggy, murky place. And all of a sudden, the creatures of the bog took hold of her, grabbed her arm and grabbed her leg. And she was like, oh my gosh, now I see what all these people are afraid of. I'm getting captured by this bog. And as she was struggling to get out of the bog, she heard the sound of another human being who was walking through the forest at the same time, and he was having trouble too. So in order to help light his way, she pulled back the hood that she had over her hair, so her radiant hair would give him some light. And when he had the light, he was able to avoid the bog, and he was able to get back home. Well, he got out, but she didn't get out. She got captured by the bog, and she got pulled down into the mud. And these bog creatures didn't want her light out there because they wanted to be able to catch more people. And they literally covered her with a great stone.
Jeez.
Yeah, so she's stuck in the bog. Well, the people of the village, they realized, wow, where did the light of the moon go? Where did our moon goddess go? And after a couple of days, they realized, we got to go looking for her. So they went into the forest during the daylight, and they figured out where she was, and they moved back the stone, and they were able to rescue her back out of the bog. And so she went up into the sky, and she's continuing to be our beautiful moon goddess. So the reason why...
So the thing is, if you get stuck in the bog, you know where that came from. What was that last week's story? Eating crow or something like that, right? Yeah, it's stuck in the bog. I don't want to do that.
So part of there's many different parts to stories that we can learn from, and in particular, I felt like one of the reasons why the story was included in a book that had to do with eating disorders. Sometimes when we experience having an addiction, it's almost like we're putting a cloak on and we're covering up our light. And we're entering a dark period where we're wrestling with some things and trying to understand how to be in this world. And what we gain from coming through trials and tribulations, we gain the ability to share our light. And our light is not only for others, it's for ourselves as well. Mm-hmm. But we're in community. And so this story just helped to show how in community we help each other.
And then plus, as the rescuer, then she got rescued.
That's she had help to get rescued. Yeah. She had help.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So we help each other. Yeah.
That's it. All right. Kristine Marie wants to add some light to this whole thing.
I do, because I was looking at the card for today, and it's the 7th card, which is the Chariot. And the Chariot, in almost every deck, is harnessing both their light and their dark to move the Chariot forward, to go into forward movement, into success. And this charioteer, he has a white bull and a black bull. They look like they're going in opposite directions, but they're not. He's really utilizing both the energy of his light and his dark to move forward. And he's driving his chariot with the symbol called the Hanub Ku, which is the Mayan butterfly, which is the Mayan symbol for the galactic center, which is like the center of the, I think it's kind of funny how we as a culture, modern society, science, we used to think that, the sun went around the earth. Now we realize we're going around the sun, and with the sun, we're going around the Milky Way, and with the Milky Way, we're going around the galactic center. How did the Mayans know that? How many thousand years ago? I don't know. But the Mayan butterfly is a symbol that's like of the light and the dark, almost like the yin yang, but in a different way, like the Tao of light and dark mixing together. And it's that aspect where, beginnings and endings and light and dark, and how all of those transformations really help to move us forward. And what I love about my card from the Sun and Moon Tarot deck is it looks like it's just before sunrise. So it's just the light, the starry sky behind the charioteer. It's just starting to lighten up in the morning. And it's so powerful because it feels to me a lot of like what's happening now with COVID, and with all of us, that things are starting to open up and move out, and we're starting to really move forward, and that's what the Chariot is all about. And I love the idea of the light and the dark, and utilizing both of those things to help us move forward.
Nice. Dawn, let's close it out. We've got a couple of minutes before break, and then what Dr. Amy always does is she absorbs all this content, and then she puts it in like 101.
Some
Dr. Amy 101.
Beautiful messages for our teens.
Yes. Don.
Certainly. Briefly, I want to mention DonsMassageOhai.com. I provide therapeutic and structural integration bodywork to help you unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit, serving Ojai, Ventura, Santa Barbara, and sometimes Oxnard. And in Nahuga, there, Dominique mentioned radiant feet, and that's shown in the moonlight. And I chuckled because my wife has made me an appointment for a pedicure. and we'll see if the removal of many layers of dry and dead skin will make me radiant in my feet.
So awesome.
So I want to put it out there to teens. And I know you've heard of maybe a parent or an aunt or uncle going to get a pedicure or a manicure. Well, I didn't receive my first pedicure or manicure until I was in my 30s. And I want to tell you, as teens, if you have an opportunity to go, it is an absolutely delightful experience to have someone properly care for your nails and your cuticles, and you learn things when somebody does this for you.
Yeah, it's only if you can stop laughing because you're ticklish in the feet.
George, my oldest is so ticklish. I got them both for pedicures when they were like their late teens, just because it was, it wasn't a guy thing to do, but we walked in there and I said, sit your butt down. I had to do it old school, and they both loved it. Well, Joe I heard him giggle. It was actually kind of funny.
I've been getting pedicures since I was 17. This is Kristine Marie, and it's amazing. Such a good thing.
Definitely. Very reflective.
Healthy nails, healthy feet. You can run better, faster. It's wonderful.
Nice. All right, let's do this. We've got Dr. Amy. Fill up your coffee. Got Dr. Amy after these messages. And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hello and welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. This is Dr. Amy Saltzman with StillQuietPlace.com and SpotASpider.com. And I am going to pick up on Kristine Marie's conversation about dark and light. And I think what I've been reflecting on is, yes, of course, we all have dark and light. And at the same time, there are some people who, due to their own misfortune, have more dark, and then they didn't take the responsibility, or they weren't given the opportunity to explore that darkness. And so it became increasingly dark. And for those of us who are light and have been willing to explore our own darkness, I think we can be particularly susceptible to the very darkness, because our worldview is that we're trusting, we give people the benefit of the doubt, we expect people to be as kind and compassionate and in integrity as we are. And those are beautiful, beautiful qualities, and they can be taken advantage of. And so I just encourage people to have compassion for people who are in the dark, but also have caution if you're dealing with someone in the dark. And to remember that because of their experiences, not everybody is doing their work, and not everybody's done the work to be their lightest, best selves. That's what I've got for today.
Thank you for that, Dr. Amy. It was a good reminder, because this is Kristine Marie. I do have that tendency to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and sometimes it stings a little bit to remember that. But I also like to think sometimes that even though people aren't doing, I like to also think that people are doing the best they can with what they have in the moment. And even if it's not our best, it's the best they can. Because I know when people know better, they do better, and they usually do. And if they can't, if they do know better and they're not doing better, imagine that's the best they can do at that time. So for me, that helps me with compassion. It helps me also protect myself, because, to not take it personally in a certain way, right? Because it's like they are doing the best they can, even though maybe they haven't gotten to that place of the capacity to dig into the dark and feel comfortable.
And I'm kind of forgetting what I've talked about and what I haven't, but I think there's this place of this balance of what I'm calling fierce forgiveness, which is a form of compassion. Like, I can have compassion for someone who's in the dark and causing harm, and at the same time I can peacefully and compassionately hold them accountable.
Yes.
And I think it's both and I think sometimes we as a culture, and I'm writing an article for Mindful Magazine on this, we focus so much on the internal process of compassion and forgiveness that we're not doing what we need to do individually or as a society to hold certain forces accountable, whether it's an individual or politically, to just say, no, that's not how we do things.
Right. Oh, that's beautiful, Dr. Amy. That's beautiful, because it is important to shine the light on that darkness, to say, wait, that's not appropriate behavior. And that's not acceptable behavior either, right? There's a zero tolerance for that kind of behavior. So, and I know you can do better. It's time, And if you didn't realize you couldn't, well, let me show you now. You can,
I think another way we have to maybe refrain when I've always been told you need to do the work, you need to do the work. I never got what that meant, to be really. It's like going to an EST seminar. Remember the EST back in the 80s? I didn't get that either. Okay, spent a lot of money for nothing. But if somebody would have said to me in a different way, I don't know why, I'm audible learner or whatever, somebody would have said, look, you have trauma points. And you could tell because you're overreacting to things, you should understand why you're overreacting to those things. So go back in your memory bank and figure out what is triggering you towards those fears or emotions that you might. Now, if I would have said something like this to my dad, as he was throwing one down, of course, he probably would have hit me. But that's one of those big trauma points that I have.
I'll show you a trigger point.
That's why I don't drink. So I got to learn. I think it's got to be a phrase when somebody overreacts, and there's got to be a gentle way, because I have had that happen lately, people overreacting.
Yeah, so what I try, especially when I'm talking with a teen, what I try to say is, if you feel angry about something, wow, respect that. Wow, that anger is telling you someone has crossed a boundary. Don't run that over. That is really good body information. And so I encourage, but with that anger, if you feel like you have to retaliate, or you hook it onto a whole bunch of other things and blow it out of proportion, that the heat of it is what we would call the work. And that's the part where, as an individual, you look at, well, why do I have so much heat? But the information of the anger, wow, teens, I need you to know that anger is really important. And that's telling you you need to do something, you need to say something, you need to be seen in the fact that a boundary was crossed.
We talked about that with somebody who popped by last night that wanted to talk about their day, and Dominique and I are being motherly, and we're like, wait a minute. Of course, I did it because I was daddy, right? I said, what do you got, stupid on your forehead? I mean, that's how I approach it. Of course, Dominique did the mommy thing, right? So, right? It's just how people are setting it up, and, what's the definition, or how do you define friendship? And this is like kids, young adults, older parents, grandparents. You still have to take those boundaries, and sometimes you have to do a reset. That's all.
Yeah. So what Dr. Amy is speaking to about light and dark. So when, for me, what I feel in my body when I talk about light or dark, light means I'm transparent. I'm not perfect, but I'm transparent about what's going on for me. Dark is when maybe there's an intention to do harm. I'm literally doing something in the dark. I don't want anyone to know what's going on. That's, to me, what in the dark is. Dr. Amy, can you speak a little bit more about how you explain to teens what being in the light and being in the dark means?
I think, again, we all have our places where we're unconscious, where no matter how old we are, right, our families, our upbringing caused us to think and feel and behave in certain ways. And the more loving, compassionate awareness we can bring to those things, so I would call that the light, the less likely those habits are going to influence our actions. And when people have been unlucky and their family systems have given them certain beliefs about the world or about themselves that, maybe they're not good enough, or the world is a dangerous place, and they haven't explored those things, or that just they're not worthy, or their needs don't matter, then if those issues aren't explored with the light of awareness and kindness and compassion and curiosity, the darkness kind of builds on itself and becomes increasingly harmful. So whether it's with a friend, or by listening to Teen Sports Radio, or with me or Sierra or someone, the more you can look at those issues with kindness and compassion, the less likely you are to act them out on someone else. And then we do for sure have people in our personal lives and in our global lives who were harmed and learned mistaken beliefs as a child, and they're acting those out on the world stage, whether it's presidents of countries or abusive coaches or whatever. They're acting these behaviors out because they didn't get a chance to do the healing work.
Hey, big stuff, lots of stuff, but you know something? Okay. I need to go get more coffee. So let's take a break. This is Erica Salt. We'll be back with Dr. Amy after these messages.
Well, now together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Together we'll stand, divided we'll fall. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand, every boy, every girl, and a man.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. This is Kristine Marie with A View from the Deck. You can always call me at 805-350-2705 if you'd like a reading, or find me on Facebook. I just wanted to do a segue real quick. Dr. Amy was talking about reflecting gently to people, and I just got this beautiful picture of that moon goddess reflecting her shining, beautiful light back down on the people with kindness. And I just felt it was just so beautiful just to sort of shift, just to bring it back into that circle, and to thank Dominique for her story, and Amy, Dr. Amy, for what she has to share too, and how it all just dovetails together. And I believe that we have we have Mr. Anthony Rodriguez next from the Food Bank.
Hey everybody, this is Anthony from the Food Bank of Santa Barbara County. I just wanted to share a couple exciting things that we have coming up. So this, for September, we're excited about having it called the Hunger Action Month. And we are making calendar ideas for an action item for every day of the month. If you want to participate with that, people can go and sign up for an email at foodbankspc.org. And also, we would love if any restaurants want to help fundraise for that. We're actively seeking partners for a one-day fundraiser where people can either dine out or take out for hunger. So if any restaurants want to participate in that, that would be awesome. Any organizations that want to help out with that, that would be great, because we want to do our best to reduce and eliminate hunger that we have here in Santa Barbara County. A lot of people think that there's not much of a hunger issue here, but in reality, there is, and we really need your help to be able to do this. So we can't do this alone. This is a community effort, and if you're willing to help out, please do. Also, if you want to come and volunteer at the food bank, kids, students, this is an awesome opportunity for you guys to get your hands wet and getting some community service. So you guys can also take a look at foodbankspc.org for an opportunity for that. But I also wanted to take something back, though, on everything that everyone has been talking about. As a abuse survivor myself, I want to say thank you for bringing this up, because a lot of people don't like to talk about it. Families don't like to talk about it. But how else are we going to reduce the risk of abuse and in any form if we don't talk about it? And I hope that, by me talking about the fact that I was abused, I was sexually abused and also verbally abused for many, many years. I'm hoping that somebody any kids that are listening to this, that I hope that you guys end up having the strength to talk about and speak up for what's happening to you, if it's happening to you. And if it's not happening to you and you know of a friend, you know what? Be their voice. Stand up, because we all deserve to be able to be okay. And if anybody ever has any questions, you guys can reach me on the show or find out. But I'm more than happy to speak with you and help you get through a difficult time. But know that you have a voice and you have the right to say no. And just know that, things are hard, but can get better, and know that you're not alone.
Anthony, shine some light on your experience with working with kids and all the suicide work that you've done.
Yeah, so because of the things that I have been through in my past, I felt that I needed to do something to bring out and be a voice for those who are going through abuse and also who have thoughts of suicide. I'm also a multiple attempt survivor of suicide, and it's really important for us to realize that we're not alone. It is hard to talk about, and there's no doubt that your feelings are they're valid, and we just have to be able to find ways that we can express our feelings without somebody hurting us. So a good thing to do is to try to find somebody that could be a rock, somebody that you can talk to, because there's always somebody willing to listen, always. And if somebody doesn't want to listen to you the first time, don't stop asking and trying to find somebody that will listen. There is somebody that will listen. Sometimes it takes a few, and working with a lot of the teens, I go into schools. So the schools, if you go to a school, you can ask for me. My name is Anthony Rodriguez. And if you want to talk to me, they will go ahead and call me and let me go and work with you. But just know that it's a difficult time, and there's so many difficult things that are happening right now in the world. It's just unfathomable. But being able to support our teens it's something that I hold very dear to my heart. And to talk about, especially abuse, which is one of the hardest things to talk about, I realized that I did have a voice, even though I was being threatened. I was being told I wasn't good enough. I was being told that if I said something, it was going to be all my fault, that I would destroy the family. If anybody else is telling you that, it's not true. It's not true. The ones that are hurting you are the ones that made the mistake, not you. Nobody deserves and nobody asks to be abused. Yeah. So know that if you are being told that, they're lying. They are lying. You do not deserve.
Anthony, we've got a couple of minutes. We need to honor all of the people, the businesses and nonprofits that are supporting our kids out there. So let's get to that, and then we'll have a wrap up. We'll continue after these messages. And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. It's Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Some heavy stuff we're talking about. What I hate to be the brunt of all the good news, really, but we need to let people know what's going on. Suicides have gone up. The fentanyl use have gone up. Impoverishment has gone up for our kids, more food stamps, more food carts for kids. I heard it's getting as high as now 60%. We're almost doubled as far as number of fentanyl use in this county. And I mean, if you're looking around, I mean, it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. We need to focus. We need to look around. Anthony, give me like 15, 20 seconds. I know Dr. Amy wants to round it out, and then we're done for the day, but...
Well, just know that it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with it. The more that you ask for help, that means you're a lot stronger than you think. And I know that it's difficult, but don't forget to do that.
Right. My whole thing is be aware, be a lookout. Everyone's got to be a light. Everyone be the moon goddess. Everyone see something, call people out on things. Dom, we got a minute.
Yes, I wanted to piggyback on what Anthony had said. Use your discernment, cultivate your judgment and find a sounding board, somebody that you can hash things out with. You can't always do it with your parents. A lot of times you want to do it with somebody else, but don't go it alone. Don't try and stay shut up with these things and these painful experiences. Find a sounding board.
Right. Dr. Amy, we got like 20 seconds.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you to Anthony, because healing is having gone through the fires of hell and coming back carrying buckets of water for others. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely what Anthony's doing.
I also wanted to offer the phone number, dial 988. It's a mental health emergency. And also it used to be the suicide hotline, but it's for any mental health emergency, just 988, like it used to be like 911, 988.
Listen, guys, let's be the light, okay? Let's make somebody happy today. God bless. Join us next week.